So Dallas Seavey and Mille Porslid out of Rainy Pass after about just over 4 hours of good rest there in the mountains. They're going to go up and over that final pitch down into the Dalzell Gorge to the checkpoint of Roan, catching up those front runners. Those are two teams who could win the race. Another person who like Millie, I should have done more comments here. I know last year she's really one of these people, European from Europe, who's relocated to Alaska, bases her kennel in Alaska. And I think at one point she was in a relationship with the Musher Jor, who was an Iditarod champion, and then they separated. But she has some phenomenal dogs and has a good track record, of some top 10 at least finishes, maybe a top 5. I'd have to look back at the actual data in the number sheets from the different years she's run the Iditarod previously. But right in the thick of things, you know what I mean, for this year's race, and I did her on 2024, and her and Dallas, 4 hours in the bank there, Rainy Pass. What do you think their strategy is going to be? Go down through Roan and camp out there in the burn on the way to Nikolai versus someone who's going to be camping in Roan. This is the catch-22, and I wanted to talk about this really quick with this strategy moment of the race. And the guys who are going to camp in Roan, this is the issue. If they need to drop a dog, and they decide to camp between Roan and Nikolai, which is that big stretch of open dry ground, tundra tussocks and stuff in the Furrow Burn. Great opportunities to camp out there, don't get me wrong. Good to get away from the checkpoint of Roan, don't get me wrong. But you can't drop a dog. So if you come over that crazy-ass trail, the Dalzell Gorge from the Alaska Range in the mountains, and you go through the checkpoint of Roan instead of stopping and resting in the checkpoint of Roan, and these front guys like Jesse Holmes and like Kaiser and like Matt Hall are positioned to take a rest break there. So if they come up with straw dogs, a little gimpy after going over that bag trail, up and down, roller coaster ride into the checkpoint of Road, they can leave that dog behind. If you go out in the burn and decide to take a rest there, like you're resting in Rainy Pass, you go out 20 miles and then run a nice run at Nikolai. Mathematically, it works out, but I think this happened to Sass before, where you got to haul a dog because the dog's injured. He can't run with the other dogs. He got a little sore elbow or shoulder or something like that, or wrist. So he's riding. You got an extra 50, 60 pounds of freight you're hauling on that trail. So this is a strategy type factor when we look at the position of these teams. They look good, but if something goes wrong, they might not be as looking good in 100 miles or 200.